Hi everyone, this is Bonnie Vent. Sorry I'm a little bit late. Had a little bit of technical issues going on. And so wanted to make sure that we got a good live stream going. So first of all, if you're in the chat, would you please let me know if you can hear and see me okay? And there's a little bit of a delay. So hi Juanita, hi Cynthia. Can you guys hear and see me okay? Great. Thanks so much for your help. So I was running around doing everything other than getting prepared for channeling because of doing the technical side of things. And so what I wanted to do first was explain a little bit about, normally when you see me channel, I'll be channeling the connection and they will come directly through. And that is the clearest way to get the information out to those that are inquiring. But with this particular format, I need to be able to read the questions out of the chat. So channeling in that sense, in that deeper level sense, doesn't work very well for this format. So we decided to switch it up a little bit. So, you know me, I'm always wanting to do new and different experiments. And so in this case, what we're going to do is let the people in the chat room ask whatever questions they want. So you can, hi Rosalind. So you can ask literally anything you want, just be aware that this is going to rebroadcast on YouTube. So please keep your own privacy in the back of your mind as well as you're asking questions. And if you don't have a specific question, then I can pull a card for you if you'd prefer me to do that. And I did have time to pull a card for myself for this session. And I thought I would share that with you. And it is the Queen of Water, which I'm not sure I can get it close enough for you to be able to see. But what this card represents is tenderheartedness, empathetic, patient, and loving. Relationships develop to a new level. And we're trying a very new level here in the process that we're working on today. Trust your intuition, care for yourself and others. And let me tell you, if you know anything about me, you know that that's my primary purpose and goal, is to help other people on their spiritual path. And the connection also wanted me to mention that if you think the energy is going crazy, good for you, you're right on target. It is very, very intense right now. And so even more important to have tools and tips and things like that for getting your energy more balanced and being able to have a certain amount of forgiveness for those around you that might not be as spiritually aware, because they might be really having a tough time. And so some of the things that I have noticed is people just being really on edge, very emotional, feeling stuck, like everything they're trying to do isn't working right now. And also I've noticed some time slips where time goes by extra fast or extra slow. And for me, mostly it's extra fast, where you just can't seem to get everything accomplished that you wanted to. So if anyone has any questions, go ahead and put them in now. The other thing that I wanted to mention too is that the appearance of multiple numbers, 111, 222, 333, 444, those are all coming back into awareness, at least with me and other people that I've been talking to. And each of those are a message and have a meaning. So my suggestion would be that you look those up because they're considered to be angel numbers. The other thing that we wanted to talk about too is that since tomorrow is Mother's Day, the connection said, please be aware that if you do have mothers, daughters that have crossed over, that they will be around you tomorrow if you're putting out that intent that you're missing them and that sort of thing. And so the advice is to pay close attention and don't dismiss those. Because the normal thing is, something will happen and you'll say, oh, that reminds me of this person. And then you'll say, oh, but that was just a coincidence. It's not. It's a message, and they're letting you know as best they can. And if you can imagine how frustrating that must be for them, hey, it's me, hey, it's me. And you go, oh, yeah, it's nothing. So please pay attention to those things. And just in general on your spiritual path, the more you pay attention to the magical things in life, the easier things will be for you. Because the more you can stay on the magical side, the more opportunities open up for you. The more you stay in the mundane, doing the same routine every day, the more you'll potentially feel stuck and things of that nature. Oh, so Juanita, you're seeing the numbers all the time too. Well, that's a very good sign that you're seeing those. And it's a good idea to look them up if you're not familiar. They're referred to as angel numbers online. So you can look up angel number and go specifically into that particular meaning for that particular thing. I noticed too that in the session that I did, the test session that I did, that it ended at 4:44, which is also very significant that you have angels and guides and you're being supported in the work that you're doing. As in other words, don't worry about it, just take faith and everything will play out the way that it's supposed to. Cynthia's saying that she met a couple in Walmart from Scotland this morning named Jim and Lillian. I told them that that was my mom and dad's names. That's just really, really special. And my family comes from Scotland too. And so it's the McDougall clan for those that are familiar with the major names in Scotland. They're very family oriented in Scotland and Ireland, and the clan, they take care of their own people. I was told if I ever went to Scotland and I went to any McDougall castle that they would have to take me in. I assume I have to show a birth certificate for that, but very, very, very sweet, very nice. And you're right, Rosalind, actually the definition of coincidence is two or more things happening at the same time. So they do happen all the time. It's just who taught you to dismiss it as not being meaningful. That's the point I try and make. It's like, well, who said that that's to be dismissed? That, like I say, that's part of the magical side of life coming through. Does anyone have any questions they'd like to ask me? Or I am still connected, even though I'm not going through trance-wise. So I can answer any questions. Or if you'd like me to pull a card for the group, I'll be more than happy to do that too. Hi, Elijah. Good to see you. Yes, the connection can, Juanita, answer questions about your life. They tend to be educational, not so much what maybe you've seen in other formats where they're telling your future kind of thing. The connection is all about empowering you in your life. And they will give you advice. They will give you suggestions. They'll never tell you specifically what you need to do because they do not want to interfere, but they are here to assist. And so if you ask the question, they will provide an answer, a meaningful answer for you. I know they help me all the time. They're pretty much with me 24/7. And Cynthia says she wants a card pulled. So that's a good idea. I was going to pull a card for the group too, but I'll do Cynthia's first. And these are absolutely lovely cards. I only have one deck. I've never really been all that attracted to cards. But I do know that when the correct card presents itself, it'll pop itself out to me. So your card is release. These cards are just so lovely. And it says the end of the phrase or situation, phase or situation, spiritual transformation, time to move on. And a lot of us are in that particular situation right now where we're waiting for the next step, the next logical thing that presents itself. And so the suggestion from the connection would be to try and put into your mind's eye as much as possible what you would like to experience. And the closer you get to your true purpose, the more likely it will manifest. And I hope that makes sense. Hi, Andrea. Nice to see you. Yeah, aren't the cards beautiful, Cynthia? I just love them. So I'm going to pull one for the entire group. And this will be true for later on as well, people that view this video after the fact. Because if you're drawn to the video, then there's something of meaning for you. The world, Archangel Michael. Well, we know a lot about Michaels, don't we? A job well done, joy, contentment, and gratitude, the path towards enlightenment. And there again, this is the purpose in the work that I do, that I share out with you, is to assist on your path and to maybe share some of the things that I've been through. And I find that I've been through a lot of things that other people are currently going through now. And so just having that little bit of extra experience of knowing, because I've been through, the mud personally, it's helpful to a lot of people, and it saves them a lot of grief. I did see Juanita wanted to know how to get away from a very bad relationship. It's interesting that you asked that question, Juanita, because I was in communication with somebody yesterday who was asking a very similar question. And really, it's about your own self-worth and working on your own self-worth. And you need to get out if it's a bad relationship, and you need to make plans so that you are moving away and into a more healthy situation. And don't be afraid to be by yourself. A lot of people are doing this now. They're shifting out of relationships that aren't working for them because they're getting ready to go to a new level with new opportunities. And having that environment of whatever kind of negativity that you're dealing with is detrimental to your spiritual growth. And no other person should be allowed, and allowed by you, the individual, all of us, no other person should be allowed to take control over our own path. It is our path, and it's our path to walk by ourselves. We do join up with other people for growth and for learning and for companionship and that sort of thing. But if it's that negative to where you feel that you can't, it should be predominantly positive. Everyone's going to have fights and disagreements, but it should be a predominantly positive experience. If it isn't, then you need to let it go. And that can be easier said than done, but start making plans to get into a different situation. And for anyone who's in an emergency situation where there's violence or extreme emotional abuse, please contact hotlines in your area and they will assist and help you. Never stay in a dangerous situation. There's no reason for it. Okay, Andrea says she would like a card, which must be why I'm still shuffling them here. Page of Earth, scholarly, dependable, patient, successful. Good news about financial matters. So Andrea, if you say you're feeling stuck on so many levels, you need to look for that good news on financial matters. Wanting to do something more challenging, a new area of study. This is the perfect card for what you're saying, that you're feeling stuck. Because the best way to get unstuck is to go look at other new opportunities, other fields of study. Go to school, take a class, look for things that spark your interest. And the more joy that interest brings to you, the closer you are to your true purpose. Because we were all in that situation where we're trying to find out what our true purpose is. Why are we here? And it can take a really long time. I know I didn't come in knowing that this is what I was going to do. Not at all. My background is in technology. And I had a 25-year career in software development. And so I always knew from a child that I had to dig very deep within myself and sustain myself on my own. And many of you may be in similar situations where your childhood was not necessarily the leave it to beaver, supportive mom and dad kind of situation. So the positive side of that is that you learned how to be spiritual at a very young age, and it helps you get past all the things that don't matter. And that's really where we are right now, is sorting out what matters and what doesn't matter. And job situations, you think they matter and you have all these deadlines, and then, you know, there's a layoff and you get a pink slip and all of a sudden your deadline doesn't matter anymore. And that happened to me. And so you learn very quickly that the things that you thought were so important, it was keeping you up at night, not necessarily anything that you really needed to worry about. Okay, Belinda says she has a question. Why does it feel like I have negative dark energies trying to stop me from moving forward? I pray for protection. I call in my angels. You really need to step out of that mindset, because you're actually creating it by feeling that way. So instead of acknowledging the dark and the negative, start focusing on the positive and walking your way out of that situation. And it's not a matter of protection, it's a matter of walking away and saying that I don't have time for this. This is not what I'm here to do. And you're walking through the mud. That's the way I put it. You know, you feel like it's taking extra effort to get where you need to go. And we all have to do that. That's where the largest amount of learning happens, is when you're walking through the mud, sadly. It would be nice if everything was all great and wonderful and cheery all the time. But you do get, once you go through those experiences and come out the other side, you do feel a lot lighter in what you're doing. Yay, Andrea! I'm glad you liked your card. It's a very positive card. Elijah says he would like to have a card pulled. Elijah Schaefer speaks, in case you're wondering. It's like, who's Elijah? That's Elijah. He's just hiding under a different name. He's a very spiritual guy, so get to know him. He's very, very nice. This says ego, a false sense of entrapment, being overly focused on material things, negative or fear-based thoughts. Put the card up so you can see it a little better. And for you, yet again, this is a walking away from and working through fears that you've had. And I was actually talking with Elijah yesterday about how doing this process today is really a test for me on how comfortable can you be putting you in a new situation where you've got to do everything all by yourself and you have to hope that people show up and want to talk to you. And you know, I was getting all these signs that everything was going to be perfectly fine and not to worry about it. And sure enough. So it's really about sorting out the things that are fearful because they're a challenge and you need to work through the fear and do them anyway, or the things that are fearful and negative where you need to walk the other way, you know, out the door. And usually we know the difference on those things as to whether or not the fear that we have is just something we need to push through. And it's definitely the time to do that. And that's where all the new opportunities come. If you want like above and beyond kind of life, that's how you get there. It's a lot of hard work and pushing through your fear and just doing it anyway and not worrying about what anybody thinks about what you're doing. And you have to spend a lot of alone time, to be honest, to get yourself into a situation where you feel comfortable and that you're listening to your guidance and you feel that you can go through and work through the fear. So like I say, a lot of people are going to have a lot of alone time, and it's not a bad thing at all. It can be very peaceful and very quiet and nobody's fighting with you. So there's a lot of positives to it. Yeah, pushing through the fear is a really, really big one for me too. Okay, Sashi. So she like a card pulled. Okay, so this one's for Sashi. The Seven of Earth. Seeds well planted, a temporary pause in action, unnecessary worry. Is anyone noticing a theme in the cards that I'm pulling? It's like, don't worry about it. Just go out there and do it. And, you know, plant your seeds, whatever your passion is, the thing that you've always wanted to do. Don't put it off. Don't put it off. And it's spring. I mean, that's what we do. We plant seeds, right? I planted some. I planted some little herbs. And it's actually not a bad idea to do that in a physical way as well, which is what I did. Just get yourself some little pots. Doesn't cost very much. And physically plant the seeds as well as emotionally planting the seeds and energetically planting the seeds. It gives it a full circle. So I want to say circle of life is what they're telling me. It gives it a full circle of life when you do things in the physical that also are part of the spiritual. And the sorting out of, because everyone is so busy, and it's about prioritizing what you really want to do, because you can be so busy in 3D that you never get around to doing these other things, and you wind up with the big R word, I hate it, regret. And my mother's in assisted living, so I talk with a lot of people that are in their 90s, and it's like, oh, I wish I would have taken that trip. I wish I would have fill in the blank. And set your sights on doing the things that you've always wanted to do. You know, people call it a bucket list, but really try and manifest as much of that as you possibly can. Oh, love you too, Sashi. I'm sorry, I'm not used to looking at the chat. And I put it on slow just to give myself a little bit of a break. So there's probably a lot of delay. But I really enjoy these cards because they're very descriptive of, and maybe I should mention this, that if you are going to get involved with tarot or oracle cards or whatever, you need to be one with your deck kind of thing. And you need to find a deck that, get used to it, Bonnie. Oh, get used to what? Doing this? Get used to doing this process? Um, I have to get used to doing everything because it's always something new and it's what I signed up for. And so I just say, well, okay, this is what you want me to do. All right, I can do that. And for the most part, I can do what's being asked of me. I already find that I have the tools that I need to do the work that I'm asked to do. And so it really isn't a matter of going out and spending a bunch of money or anything like that. But I was going to say with the cards, it's always good to find a deck that feels right to you, that resonates with you. And it will, hi, Emmy, or is it Amelia? It's Amelia, isn't it? Because you put the dots in there to throw me off. It's Amelia. Hi, Will, you got skipped. I'm so sorry. I didn't see you. So if you're still here, I will pull a card for you now. Willie's saying he got skipped. Maybe no card for him today. No, there'll be a card for you today. So this one's for Willie. Page of Earth, scholarly, dependable, patient, successful. Good news about financial matters, and Andrea had good news about financial matters too. Waiting to do something more challenging, a new area of study. So Willie, if you're still hanging around, I hope you didn't leave. That's the message for you, is to start looking for new things that strike your interest and bring passion into your life. And that's what this card is saying to you. Pick up a new area of study. So whatever you're currently doing seems like you feel like there's something missing and there's other things that you want to do. And really, it's just a matter of tasting things. You're not expected to know immediately what it is you're supposed to do. It's a matter of tasting until you find what resonates with you. Hi, Heather. Nice to see you. Okay. I'll pull a card for Amelia. I'm going to have to dig way down for this one for whatever reason. This one's for you. It's a Four of Fire. Contentment, peace, and abundance, a happy home life, the successful completion of a project. So if you're currently working on something, looks like it's coming to a successful completion, which is a wonderful thing. But then it's also time to start the next thing because you're never done. You're never done. Oh, you're welcome, Willie. I'm sorry I missed you. It's not you, it's me. Trust me. Yes, that was Heather. Heather's asking a question. Do I focus on what I'm concerned about while you pull the card? Yes, that's very helpful because, oh, you're welcome, Amelia. that's very helpful because that brings the energy across so that I can pick up on it a little better. Oh, thank you, Willie. That's very sweet. I tell you, I just don't want to put these cards down. So Heather, did you want me to pull a card for you? I think you did. So let me do that. Okay. So this is Heather's card, Nine of Water. I love water. I'm just so attracted to water right now. I think it's going to help as far as any of the craziness in the atmosphere. The closer you can get to water, or if you can have like a little pond or fountain, or also the Himalayan salt lamps help. So salt and water. If you can get by the ocean, go get by the ocean. Anyway, this is Nine of Water. It says, your wish comes true, concerns fade away, a love of life. That's a very wonderful card. So it's interesting that you asked, should I focus on what you're concerned about? And the answer is yes. And when you leave here today, focus on what it is that you want to manifest in your life. And that will be the way to get you started on your journey down to more happiness. Andrea's saying, for years I've been involved with music, art, photography, no real money, just got involved with marketing CBD oil. All the things I'm passionate about, no one wants to pay. I understand what you're saying, Andrea. And I think CBD oil actually is something that is going to, it's becoming very popular and much more accepted in the marketplace. I do know someone who's actually making other items with CBD oil in them. So if you're interested in maybe making some products, those are things that people definitely will pay money for. And so that might be a different way to go also. Yeah, I think Elijah is saying he'll buy from you. Yeah, I think CBD oil is very, very popular, and it's good for animals as well as people. So you've got a lot of different ways that you can market it. I know a lot of people are using it on their animals because vet bills are so expensive, and may not, may be that the oil is the answer. So anytime you can do anything that is holistic, it's always a great way to go. It is Mother's Day in America tomorrow. So happy Mother's Day to you, because you're just ahead of us time-wise. And Belinda wanted a card pulled. Got it. So this one will be for Belinda. Life experience. A significant life event, a powerful revelation that leads to change. Time to spread your wings. So yet again, we're coming up with the same theme of everyone who's attracted to coming here today all have a similar theme. It's time to start whatever that new thing is, whether it's planting seeds or spreading your wings or whatever terminology, it all means the same thing. Getting down to your core purpose and doing what brings you joy and passion. And as Andrea pointed out, finding a way to monetize it so that you have your financial situation taken care of. Absolutely. Okay, Virginia wanted a card. Someone asked, were readings free? These are absolutely, you can purchase time with me off of my website. And I do have a couple of different ways to go. I have email readings, which are a lot less expensive because they don't take as much time, obviously, because you're paying for the amount of time. And then I also have Skype and phone readings as well. Those are on my website, which is bonnievent.com. And no, I don't do those for free. For the same reason that Andrea was pointing out, we have to eat too and keep a roof over our head and that sort of thing. So these I like to do to help people really, really quickly. But as you can tell, I'm not spending an hour on each one. So yes, these are completely free. If you want to donate, you can. This is Super Chat, so there is a little $ button on there. So if you want to donate to the so that we can do more of these, you're welcome to do that, but it is not mandatory in any way. Okay, Juanita, is my Libra friend my soulmate because I have dreams about him and then I see him? Maybe what I want to start out with is to say that the whole concept of soulmate has been turned into a very romanticized fantasy. And if you do meet your soulmate, chances are they're going to be very, very challenging for you because it can be like looking in the mirror. And so if you're asking in the sense in a romantic way, soulmates don't usually wind up being good romantic partners. But let me pull a card and just see. Four of Earth. Being too frivolous or too cautious with money, good business decisions, giving to those less fortunate. So I think what they're trying to tell you is you need to focus in a different direction. And best to spend some alone time processing what it is you would like to find in a romantic partner, and really manifest the things that you would like to see in that partner. It's a much better way to go than the "Are you my soulmate?" and so many people have been so hurt and disappointed because they thought it was, oh, this is the ultimate person and it's going to be blissful, and it doesn't usually turn out to be that way. So better to search for the types of traits that you would like to find in a companion and to start manifesting those. And not being afraid to be by yourself, not being afraid to walk away if it's not the right thing for you. And just say, I'm sorry, this is just not for me. Okay, Tanya Kimball would like, thank you, Cynthia, for keeping track for me. Even on slow, I spend more time talking than I do looking at the chat. I'm so sorry. This one's for Tanya. Four of Earth, which is the exact same card. It's so funny. Being too frivolous or too cautious with money, good business decisions, giving to those less fortunate. So I hope that makes sense to you, because it is a balancing act as far as how we spend our money, and that we spend our money on things that make us feel good in the long run. I don't know if you've ever been in a situation where you go out and you buy something and you say, oh, this is just the greatest thing. And 2 days later, you've completely forgotten about it. And it's like, you know, and so there's that immediate little, oh, I got a new pretty thing. But then there's the more long-term things. And giving to others can be a really good way to bring abundance into your own life as well. And doesn't have to be money. Just giving of your time can be very beneficial, more beneficial than money usually. For most people do not get enough interaction with other people. So being a good friend is invaluable. So it doesn't have to be money. Thank you, Virginia. T. Kimball would like a card pulled. Oh, that's Tanya. Sorry, I just did it. And Virginia would like a card. Sorry, Virginia, I didn't forget you. I'm just spending too much time talking, but that's probably why you guys are here, is to get the interpretations. So, okay, this is for Virginia. Knight of Air, intelligent, decisive, idealistic, tireless. Events that occur with great speed. Take time to carefully review your options. Creative solutions. I should let you guys see these cards because they're really, really pretty. So what I'm getting here is that you're going to need to look for different ways to answer your current questions, which is a matter of opening yourself up to more possibilities. The answer might not be what it's been in the past, because the energies are changing and things are working on a different level. So it's an invitation to look at new ways of solving or solutions to creative problems. Not, you know, creative problems are good problems to have because those are opportunities. So it's how best to use the opportunities that are coming to you. And I gather you have quite a few. You have quite a few, and it says you're tireless, and so you have all the energy it takes to do whatever it is that you want to accomplish. So it's really just a matter of how do you want to get there. And that's where your creativity comes into play as well as the solution and what's going to be the happiest thing for you. Okay, is there anyone currently in the chat who I have not pulled a card for, who would like a card or would like to ask a question? Yeah, the cards are really pretty, Elijah. And they sit with me all the time. And so, you know, I've had these cards for a couple of years now, and you can see they look pretty new because I got these well ahead of when I needed to use them. It's a very interesting thing how the timing, like I say, the tools are there when you need them, and they may show up way earlier than you thought. And you're sitting there saying, you know, why am I doing this? Why am I buying these? I don't even use tarot cards. But there's always a rhyme and a reason to everything that goes on. Okay. Jordan would like to have a card pulled. So let's do this for Jordan. Okay. Seven of Earth. You can see those. Seven of Earth. Here we go again. Seeds well planted, a temporary pause in action, unnecessary worry. So we all spend too much time and energy on worry. Worry gets you absolutely nowhere, and we all do it. It's a human trait to be worried and concerned. And fear and worry kind of go hand in hand. It's just a matter of getting past that. And most of the things we worry about never happen. And the more time you spend focused on what you're worried about, the more likely it is going to happen. So better to focus, like I say, on the positive side, on the things that you want to accomplish and get done. Brings much more satisfying life. I think you missed my question. I was wondering if you could pull a card or have advice whether to keep trying to make my marriage work or to move on to be happy. I think you just answered your own question. If you feel that moving on is going to make you happier, then presuming that you have done everything that you feel you need to do in that relationship, and so, close up everything so that you don't have any regrets. Say what you need to say to that person and just say, hey, this isn't working for me anymore. If they want to take an opportunity to try and make corrections, then that's fine too. But if you've already decided, if you've already flipped the switch that this is not working for me and it's not going to, and I'm getting ready to leave, then you're better just to be kind and gentle with the person that you're leaving. Give them good information as best you can on why you need to leave, and just set your sights on to the next thing. Virginia wants to know how Michael is. And Michael did come in a little bit earlier today, and he thought that me doing this was just the most fun thing ever. And he was actually like giggling about it. It's like, oh, I can't believe you're doing that. That's so much fun. I'd like to go to that. So he's doing fine. It is hard with kids involved, but you want your kids to be happy too. And if you're in a negative situation, then your kids are being exposed to that too. And it does affect the way that they will interact in their relationships when they get older. So you want to be a good example and role model to them. That's much better than to wait till they're grown and leave them in that contentious environment. So it is harder, and get lots and lots of professional advice and help as you go through that process, because you're right, it's not a light, easy decision to make at all. So be very thoughtful in what you do and make sure that you get, a lot of support systems around you, friends and professionals if needed. Okay, Shirley. Suzanne is saying she'd like to know if the person I am with for me, or should I keep looking? I want to know if he truly loves me or not. Yeah, Suzanne, if a partner truly loves you, you don't have any question. It's just the nature of things. You get the puppy dog eyes, and their body language and everything else will convey to you how they feel. And if you're getting mixed messages, that's not a good situation. So probably time to sit down and have a conversation and just ask and say, hey, I really need to know where we're going, and if they're not feeling it, then it'll dissipate, and that's okay. That's okay. You need to be all right with going on to the next thing if it isn't working for you. You don't want to stay stuck in relationships that are painful and destructive. It's not helpful to anybody. Okay. I'm a vibe person, and I get a great peaceful feeling from you. Thank you, Shirley. So Shirley would like a card pulled. And thank you yet again, Cynthia, for having my back here. Okay, Shirley, this one's justice. Fair and just decisions. Do what you know is right. Stand up for your beliefs. And let me put this up here so everybody can see. And this is a good card for everybody to keep in mind. I know with me, that's a big trigger for me, is when things are not fair and just. I really don't like it when that's happening. And so all we can do is, on an individual basis, make sure that we are fair and just in our interactions with people. So I don't know if you're getting ready to go through some sort of a legal situation, but it does have kind of a legal feel to it. And that things maybe have not been fair in your situation. Oh, great. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I think everyone, Elijah is saying it's a big pet peeve for him too. I think everybody wants to see things be fair, but it's a very personal perspective. What you think isn't fair, someone else may think is totally fine. So I think it depends on the energy of it. And is this person trying to teach you some sort of lesson that you need to learn from? Or, is it time to walk away if they're not as good a friend as you would hope? But then there's, like I say, that for this one, it actually had a legal feel to it. And it'd be nice if our criminal justice system was fair and balanced. That's the intent of it. It's supposed to be. So, but it's made up of people. So we just need to focus on the people being fair and just. Oh, thank you for the Happy Mother's Day. And how are we? Oh my gosh, our time is almost over. Yes, including defamation against deceased. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, Michael Jackson's going through that also. He's not worried about it, though. He said, you know what? There's no defense needed. And so sometimes, and other people are going out and defending him, but he says, you know what? I know what I know, and I know that I didn't do what I'm being accused of. And he's got that higher level perspective now, and so it's not that big of a deal for him. But he's on a very high level. He's not living in 3D anymore, because I'm sure if he was down here still, he would be very, very angry. Okay, I think we're going to do one. Someone wanted Yeah, he's completely innocent of what he's being accused of. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. So somebody wanted another card. Yes, that's how I wanted to end, with a group card. Cynthia, you're right on my wavelength. So this one's going to be to set the tone for your week ahead, because these are very short range, the information that's coming through, because things are moving so quickly. Have you noticed there's no such thing as a slow news day anymore? Everything's really speeded up. So this will be the closing card. And this will apply to everyone who's here now and everyone who comes in and looks at this later, because there is no time. Three of air. Take time to heal and the need to forgive yourself. Wow, that's very, very powerful. Because a lot of people have been asking questions about relationships and should I stay, should I go, and that sort of thing. Taking the time to heal and working on yourself is the best way to move forward and have a positive interaction. The more you work on yourself and the more you get rid of any wounds that have been suffered from the past, the cleaner your energy is, the better your chance of having a good quality relationship. And that's not just romantic relationships, that's friends and everything else. It is about who you surround yourself with. And the more you can surround yourself with people that feel similarly to you and have really good energy and really are working on putting positivity out into the world, the more of it that will rub off on you. Okay, so I see that our time is up. I started a little bit late, so I've got like 1 more minute. So if anyone has any parting things they'd like to say, would you like me to do this again or do this on an ongoing basis? Because that would be good information for me to know. Is this helpful? And I will be looking at the chat after the session is over. And so I felt blocked constantly, worry too much, and channeling gifts, and what is scared of seeing the unseen. Yeah, Rosalind, yeah, you need to work on those fears one by one and one step at a time, because it's too big to tackle all at once. So baby steps, and really don't be afraid. Just, as long as you're in touch with your guidance first before you do anything else, because that's their job, is to get you through this life safe and sound and out the other side of it. So feel very solid and very comfortable, and this is for everyone, very solid and very comfortable in your own guidance, and listen to what they're trying to tell you. Listen to your gut instincts and set aside fear that is a fear that needs to be pushed through to take you to the next level. But don't ignore fear that's something that's harmful or negative or dangerous for you. And that's really a matter of your own powers of discernment. Okay, so thanks very much, everybody, for coming. I really enjoyed doing this. And I've gotten through my fear of, and thanks to my moderators for helping me, Cynthia and Elijah. It was wonderful to have you there to keep me on track. And I will see everybody again soon. And have a happy Mother's Day tomorrow. And don't forget to hug your moms if they're still here. And if they're not, then look for signs from them of them reaching out and hugging you. All righty. Take care, everyone. Good night.